Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Pat Lott and Allison Wilson. They're from Pathway Caring for Children. And Allison, we left with the promise that you would share some great success stories with us. What comes to mind?
Well, one girl graduated from college. Another one bought a first car. Wow. There's so many, just good stories that, it's hard to put my finger on what's the best one, because going home, that's another good story. They get to go home with their parents, be that birth parents or adopted parents. Oh my goodness. Help me out here.
Oh, no, you're doing great.
You're doing great.
I love when you said, graduated from high school, got their first car. We are definitely very, very used to celebrating some successes that, you may think in your own family, well, how big of a deal is that? Well, it's a very, very big deal for our kids. Some of our kids are coming from very, very hard places, and we applaud every achievement. And
you come back
those
for
are
holidays.
Huge things. Oh, when kids come back for holidays, isn't that the best, Allison?
It is. My house fills up, and it's you never know who's coming because they want to surprise you. And sometimes they bring their other spouse, or maybe they so and so had a kid, and it's just there's a lot of good stuff.
I love that they want to surprise you, but holidays, you kind of want to make sure you've got enough mashed potatoes and gravy for everybody to go around.
I usually buy a 22-pound bird, plus I get a ham, and everyone says, how do you guys eat all that? Because it's my mom, now my mother lives with us, my husband, so the three of us obviously can't eat all that, but within 2 to 3 days between the kids coming over and taking doggy bags home, I've never thrown out any food, ever.
Yeah. What better compliment is that, though?
Oh,
what
exactly.
better? When the kids come back and want to come back.
See, to me, that's the best.
That's the best.
Even though that doesn't sound like much we're talking about, but it's huge because you just feel, you're still involved,
It sounds
and a lot
like
of them.
The definition of joy to me. That's
right.
just awesome. Any idea of how many people you've had under one roof at one time? What would be the max? Got a clue?
I'm thinking 20 total. With family and everybody that comes, because you just don't know,
Can you imagine
and
Thanksgiving for 20?
And I live in a small house. Yes. But you know what? Between the card tables and the couch and the dining room table, the breakfast nook table, and we manage,
I am so glad you said that, because I think another thing that people say to themselves, another block, might be, we don't have the room. Where would we put them?
That's true.
So address that.
You know what? You make it work. And I feel like, but maybe it's because I have a small house. It just makes you for a closer family. Like, I play a lot of games with my kids. We do a lot of board games, card games, things that you can get a lot of stuff on board when you're playing, and they, you can just get into them. They open up more. It's just some of them come back to do that. Hey, can we play a game of Skip Boo? What about Phase 10? And we're the family that plays. We don't do a lot of electronics, because I just think we need more on board than that.
In a way, isn't that better? Because there's not a lot of places where people go off to be by themselves.
Right.
You're together more, you're interacting more, and there's more fellowship and friendships develop and within the family. Right.
We don't do computers at my house. And some people do, and that's okay. They have games and stuff, and that just whatever fits your need. I do a lot more of the severe X level, so anything I can get on board, and it's a good thing.
You seem to just have the best attitude, but I know. Let's go back again. There is that fear of what happens when a child leaves. Even a horrible fear is, what if we adopt this child and then they decide they want to go back to their birth parents or leave the family for some reason, that could happen, or that the birth parents could come back and claim them later on. That's a horrible fear. Pat, do you have any answer for them?
That one of the most asked questions when I meet with a potential foster parent is, I am really afraid I'm going to get too attached. Mm-hmm. I am not going to be able to let the child be with me for a while and then go back home. And I like to let them know that is now my favorite question I'm asked, because I like them to stop for a minute and think about what your role is as a foster parent. And your role is to love them and make the child feel safe and nurtured, and quite possibly the best place for them to go is back with their home. We are not the deciders on that, so that we do have to leave that, that is out of our hands. But I am asking the foster parent to be mature enough and understanding and loving enough to know that that may be the best place for the child to go.
That would be a sign of success.
That would be a sign of success, correct.
And they also come back. If you do, if you make them feel welcome and, they know you have their best interest at heart. I have some of them that are back with their parents, but I also have some that when the going gets tough, they call me. You know what I mean? So
so that relationship is not necessarily severed.
No.
It's never done, and that door is always open,
Right.
and they know it.
Right. So it's not like they go back and they're out of your life. I mean, that doesn't, I know that sounds like that, but that's not the way, it's not the way it's been for me.
There are a lot of ways to foster children, even other foster to adopt programs. What sets Pathway apart?
Oh my gosh, I could toot our horn for a long time.
Right.
We've been in Stark County since 1973. We are the definite experts at what we do. We do foster to adopt. We have the Independent Living Skills program for teenagers. We do post-adoptive support services. We do mental health services for children, adults, and families. So we encompass it all.
Right.
And our therapists are in-house. So your kids, if they were to need therapy, we do it right in with the team effort of the caseworker with Pathway. There is also a caseworker from the county involved. So what sets us apart? We are a private agency. So we're smaller. Our social workers have less homes on their caseload. So I like to think you do get a little more personalized special attention.
You do.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the training, that the training is so good. Any trainings coming up for someone who they're in year 3 of thinking this over?
Oh, great. I love that. Yep, I do have a training that will begin the first week of July. It will be Tuesdays and Thursday evenings from 6 to 9, and that would be something where I would meet with the person before they would join, but I'd be happy to do that and see if this is right for them before they would join up for the class.
Mm-hmm. Locations.
Yep. Well, our main office is in Canton at 4895 Dressler Road. I love to say we're right across from Golden Corral. And so everyone knows where we're at. We do our trainings there, and that is also our main office in Stark County. However, we do have an office in Brook Park, Ohio, up near the airport. We have an office in Carroll County. We have a Damascus office, and we have a Minerva office. So we have grown quite a bit.
Any idea of how many children are in need of a foster home right now?
Well, in the past 12 months, Pathway alone has received 1,200 referrals in Northeast Ohio children to be placed.
Okay, so 100 a month?
Correct.
Okay, were they all able to find homes?
Not necessarily all with Pathway. Mm-hmm. The children, there would be other agencies that would receive the notice of a child waiting to be placed. But the need is huge right now.
What kind of holding pattern is there for a child who's removed from a home until they're found a place for them?
Well, if it's an emergency removal, which that would be the county, that is not our agency. It is a actual emergency placement request that goes out, and that would have to happen immediately then.
And that does happen?
It does happen.
So children are kept safe?
Children are kept safe, yes they are. Mm-hmm.
And what kinds of things do you find that children are having to deal with? I'm thinking, right, you like teenage girls. So I think being a teenage girl in this day and age is not the same as being a teenage girl 5, 10, 20 years ago.
Right. Well, when I started, I thought I wanted younger ones, 5, 6 to 9. But there wasn't as big of a need for that back then, I don't think, as there is now. Would you say? I mean, there's more sibling groups now?
I definitely have more sibling groups now. And now, there was a time I would say mostly our kids were, 10 and up. I don't say that anymore. It's all over the place, from littles all the way up to, 18, 19, needing a home.
I had a friend who, she only fostered newborns. So this woman literally never got any sleep. She never got a full night's sleep. She always had a 2-week-old baby at her home, and it was terrible for her to let that baby go every time. She absolutely, when you're getting up at 2 in the morning with an infant, you do bond. It's just built in. So that's a very special person as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is there something that is about a person? What kind of people are you looking for to foster?
Oh my gosh, I would say the common thread for the foster parents at Pathway that I've worked with, all have some sort of faith-based reason for wanting to do this, for wanting to give back. And that's just so special for our families. Sometimes there's a person that themselves, they've had, some issue or have been in the system in some way, and they want to make a difference for another child. That's also very, very common. A lot of times people just feel, I'm so blessed, I want to share my blessings with others.
Yes. It's a calling, though, isn't it?
It is a calling. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
And if one person in the family feels tremendously called, but others are not there, what do you do?
Oh, well, if the couple is married, or if you live as a couple, you both really need to be on board. Because this will be, a child coming into your home, so you're better off waiting a little bit, seeing. It's a team job, isn't it, Allison?
I would say it's a team effort because there's, what is it? They used to say back in the day that it took the neighborhood to raise a child. Well, now, it really takes a strong family. And I mean, you learn as you go. And I think you get better as you go. There's things in the beginning I thought, oh, this would never happen or we couldn't deal with that. But, you do. And it makes you stronger, I think.
Well, the first thing you want to do is go to Arcadia Grill on July 12th and just hang out, have a good meal, find out a little bit more about it. And then also, if you sometime in July, there's going to be a training going on, right? If you're interested in that, Pat, how do they contact you?
They can reach me at 330-818-0444. Give me a call. You can also shoot me an email if you'd prefer. Check out our website, www.pathwaycfc.org, and you could learn a little bit more about our organization.
Pat Lott, Allison Wilson, thank you so much for all you're doing in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.